Use one yellow hexagon and 4 blue rhombi to construct the shape shown. And then if this shape shown represents one whole, we want to find what pattern block or blocks would you use to represent each of the following fractions. So one thing we might try is we might try to just cover up our shape with other shapes. I'm just going to go ahead and start with the largest, the trapezoid, and see, can I cover up my shape with nothing but trapezoids? And it doesn't look like that's going to work. It's close, but if I cover up my shape with trapezoids, it does not work out evenly because I've got that leftover rhombus here. So that one doesn't cover my shape to make equally sized pieces. So then I might move on then to the next one, which would be the rhombus. So can I cover up my whole shape with rhombi? And in this case, I can. So I can see that it takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rhombi to make my whole. And so based on that, I know that the answer to this one down in part B is that the blue rhombus represents 1/7, because I know there are 7 sevenths in a whole and there's 7 rhombi in this whole. So then what could I do with that? I could look and see if I could find some other answers off of that. So for instance, the yellow hexagon, I can see that if I pull my yellow hexagon back out, it covers up 3 of those rhombi, or originally that's actually how I got these 3 rhombi, is I covered up the yellow hexagon, right? So my whole is made up of 7 rhombi, but the yellow hexagon is equivalent to 3 out of the 7. So that would tell me that that fraction for the yellow hexagon is 3/7. Also, I'm noticing that on this one, it uses 6/7. So again, since I already know that each blue rhombus is a 7th, I know that this would be 1/7 and then 2/7. And if I put all of them together, I get 7/7. So if I want 6/7, that means that I would want 6 out of the 7. So essentially you could imagine removing one, but I just want 6 out of the 7 blue rhombi. So this would be 6 rhombi. That's not the only correct answer, but that's a nice correct answer for that one. If I look at the rest of these though, I may not be getting anywhere with these just because, so for example, 1/2, it's not very easy to take half of 7. I would get a decimal or a fraction, right? So I have 7 rhombi. I can't easily take half of that unless I split it into smaller shapes. So that's probably where I'm going to head with that one. Also 1/14, that's smaller than a 7th. So that probably means I'm going to break this into smaller shapes for that one as well. The red trapezoid on part B, if I look, a red trapezoid does not perfectly cover up my rhombi. So again, that one I'm probably going to have to break it down into the smaller shapes. So, but I was able to get those 3 answers. And then what I would do is, I know anything that hasn't worked so far, triangles will always work because everything breaks down into triangles being the smallest. So that's what I'm going to do, is just cover up my whole using nothing but triangles. So now here's my whole shape completely covered with triangles, and I can see it takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 triangles to cover my whole. So since I know it takes 14 14/14 to make a whole, then that means that if it takes 14 triangles to make a whole, then each triangle is a 14th. So I know that this would be 1 triangle. And when I had the rhombi, I had 7 of them, and I said, well, I can't really take half of 7, but I can take half of 14. And you can actually visually see that if you look at these this half of the shape, right? You can see that half of 14 triangles would be 7 triangles. And you can see how that takes half of the whole. And again, that's not the only correct answer, but that's a good correct answer for that one. And then finally, the red trapezoid, in order to do that one, I would just see how many of those 14 triangles are covered up by a red trapezoid, and it doesn't matter where you put it. So I can see that no matter where I put the red trapezoid, it covers up 3 out of the 14 green triangles. So therefore, that's the fraction 3/14.